Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Tarjee basically means that um, before you say loud out, like, you say Allahu Akbar, you say Ashhadu an la, you say first, you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and then you say, before you say loud, Ashhadu anna Muhammad, you say Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. So you say it softly to yourself before you say it loud on, like, okay, we have the mic. Yeah, it's going to come in the kitab also in previous days, how they used to stand on a minaret. Then it will come there, and you must put your head out of the window to the right. You must put your head out of the window to the left, etc. That will come in the kitab. So, um, I told you, I mentioned to you that when you're doing Hidayah Sharif, sometimes maybe the masla doesn't seem so relevant. You think now, okay, this masla is relevant. But if you understand the working behind the masla, you understand the reasoning behind the masla, you benefit from the usul. That's why I told you, many of our ulama, they say Hidayah is not a fiqh book. It's not merely a fiqh book. It is a fiqh book, and it is a qawaid book. It teaches you the qawaid, and it's a usul book. What is you haven't studied usul formally as yet. You only studied usul. Sorry, you haven't studied the qawaid as yet, qawaid al-fiqh on its own. You studied, alhamdulillah, you studied usul, that you usul shashi, right? But qawaid that you haven't studied, they don't normally teach it, but you do it in ifta. There's a book called Al-Ashbahu wa Nazahir, where you teach the qawaid of fiqh. Inshallah, if you stick around, we'll do that also with you, inshallah. So sometimes the masla is not so relevant, but the qaida is relevant. The qaida is relevant. Now, I want to show you, just since we're discussing this here, I'm going to use this masla to show you the point I'm making. See here, we in the Hanafi madhab say there's no such thing as tarjih. It's just plain. Four times Allah Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, right? I know you know it, right? Now there is a riwayah that suggests that the famous riwayat, you have done this, I'm not sure you've done Mishkat Sharif, the riwayat of Abu Makhzura. Is a riwayat of Abu Makhzura where he would give azan like this, he'd make the tarjih first, and the Shafa'is, they practice upon that, right? So if you look at this usul here, the usul is this here, that there are so many sahih riwayat that are narrated, right? But there's no mention of tarjih in it. There's no mention of tarjih in it. And you got one riwayat of Abu Mahzura which has tarjih in it. So what will you do? What will you do? You're going to go with all the sahih riwayat that doesn't speak about tarjih. You're not going to disregard all the siha and go for one lone riwayat. Same thing I give. So just to understand this, for example, you got several students in the madrasa, you got some senior students, you got one boy that comes from that class there. Now the one boy that comes from that class, the English class, he's telling you that the ustad said this here. And here you got the senior students that know, they understand everything. They say, no, this is how it's supposed to be. Several one of them. Who are you going to give preference to? You're going to give preference to the seniors that are in the multitude because obviously they understand better, they know better. You see what I'm saying? So this is some of the thing. So maybe the masa don't seem so relevant, but you see the thinking, teaching you to think like a faqih, read that there. I see. وَلَا تَرْجِيءَ فِيهِ. So according to us, there's no tarjih. You don't have to repeat or say silently to yourself before you say loud on the microphone, etc. Right? And the direction, وَهُوَ يَرْجِعَ, it is that he must first say yarji'a, means repeat, but normally repeat comes afterward, but here the repeat comes first, right? Then فَيَرْفَعُ صَوْتَهُ بِالشَّهَادَةِ, then he raises his voice, أَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ أشهد أن محمد رسول الله, etc., etc., right? So you don't do that. This, right? بعد, right, see there? Right, فيرفع صوته, he raises his voice بالشهادتين, with the two shahadas, right? بعد ما خفض بهما, after he said it quietly. So first, أشهد then you say أشهد أن لا, loud, right? You understood that? Now وقال الشافعي, the Imam Shafi said, وقال الشافعي فيه ذلك, he say no, there is tarjih, like I told you, أشهد أن لا إله, right, right. لحديث أبي محذورة, لحديث أبي محذورة, because of the hadith of Abu Mahzura, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمره بالترجيع, that Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم commanded him with tarjih, right. ولنا أنه لا ترجيع في المشاهير, For us, we say, look at all the famous hadith. Look at Say Sita. You see all the hadith there. It speaks about Azan. There's no tarjih. Mashair Jamaf Mashhur, the famous hadith, right? Right? وَكَانَ مَا رَوَاهُ تَعْلِيمًا. So we say that what he narrated Abu Mahdura, that was just to teach him. فَظَنَّ أَنَّهُ تَرْجِيًا. So he thought it's supposed to be done like this. So what is the, I told you, as I told you in Sahih Hidayah, always bring first a naqli dalil. He bring a textual proof, and after the textual proofs, he brings what? He brings in a logical proof or logical answer, and this is here. So the story is quite interesting about Abu Mahdura. He was a person who hated Islam, and once the Nabi saw him making azan, he called him, and then, so we say that there's a lot of answers to this hadith, many that you will do in the hadith books. If you haven't done it in Mishkat Sharif, next year you'll do it in Bukhari Sharif, you'll do it in Tirmidhi Sharif, you'll do it in Abu Dawud Sharif, etc., etc. But just one answer is this, that he, when Nabi taught him to make the azan, he had some reservation. He didn't want to say, so he said it softly first. Nabi made talaqeen of him to say it loud. Then eventually he said it loud. So that we're saying that when he said it softly initially, that was ta'lim. And what was it? It was ta'liman. It was just to teach him how to say it. Like sometimes also, like you want to say something, so you mumble it to yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to the principal now, and you're scared of the principal, so before the time you're preparing what you want to say when you come there, you're saying, like, you know. And in fact, there's another hadith that remember you done us in the beginning of Mishkat Sharif, that one Sahabi came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, look here, Ya Rasulullah, tell me, murni bi amalin, other words, maybe you can have it. Tell me something that I must do it, adkhulu bil Jannah, or enter Jannah. So Nabi sallallahu said, say your shahada, read your 5 salah, this, and you enter in, you go into Jannah straight away. So as the Sahabi was leaving Rasulullah, he said, La azidu ala hada wa la anqus. He was saying to himself, I won't do anything more, I won't do anything less, I'll only do this, and inshallah I'll enter Jannah. So he was just rehearsing to himself. So there are many answers, but that is one of the answers that he was just rehearsing towards himself, right? Okay, carry on reading, inshallah.
وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام إن هذا يا بلال يتحلف في ذلك وخص الفجر.
You got khussa in your kitab. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, khussa. Right. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, the azan for all the salahs is pretty the same. Only وَيَزِيدُ فِي أَذَانِ الْفَجْرِ بَعْدَ الْفَلَاحِ. You will increase in the azan after Fajr. بَعْدَ الْفَلَاحِ after Falah. الصَّلَاةُ خَيْرٌ مِنَ النَّوْمِ. That salat is better than sleep marrataini 2 times. Right? So, you're saying, after you say hayal al-salah, hayal al-falah, right? Then you say as-salatu khayrun min al-nawm, as-salatu khayr 2 times. Why? What is it? What is the reasoning? What is the proof behind this? لأن بلالا, as Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, قال الصلاة خير من النوم, that salat is better than sleep. حين وجد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم راقدا, right? When Nabi sallallahu was resting, قال عليه السلام, this one, ما أحسن هذا يا بلال, how nice is this, Ya Bilal? اجعله في أذانك, make it, place in your azan, right? وخص الفجر به, and Fajr is specific what it, لأن وقت نوم وغفلة, because this is generally the time of sleep and of negligence. Here in the Hasha, they mention also the exact story that, you know, in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to also give azan for tahajjud, right? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to, and we know that Nabi sallallahu house was directly adjacent. Inshallah, when you go, Allah Ta'ala take you all, you'll see there, the masjid is right next to the house of Nabi, is right next to the masjid. So, and in fact, the house opened up into the masjid. There was a window that opened up. So the Bilal went there, and he said, they called Nabi for Salah. So as Aisha Siddiqa said that the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is currently resting. So then he said, As-salatu khayrun min al-nawm. Ya Rasulullah, that salat is better than, this is what you taught us. I'm reminding you, salat is better than sleep. And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved it so much, and he said, Ij'alhu fi azanik, put it into your azan. So the question might come to your mind for a moment here, but look here, this came from Hazrat Bilal. Like, you know, this came from Hazrat Bilal. Nabi sallallahu never put in azan. But now if you just take you back now to your usul, remember what we said, what was hadith? The statements, the actions, and the taqarir. Remember what was taqarir? Something that was done in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he approved of it. So here, you've got the approval of Rasulullah Sallallahu for the as-salatu khairun an-nawm. So there's no problem, there's no doubt in it because he's got the taqarir. Remember, taqarir something Nabi saw and he approved upon it and he didn't object to it. Okay, read from carry on. Yusuf, you can read if you read.
إنه يدخلنا بعد الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة مرتين.
Right. So Iqama is pretty much the same in the Hanafi madhab according to the same as Azaan, but in the Shafi madhab you do everything. You do two takbirs, one shahadat each, right? But in us it's the same, right? Well, Iqamatu mithul Azani. According to us, Iqamat is exactly Azan. إلا أنه يزيد فيها, but only thing is after بعد الفلاح you say حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة على الفلاح, you say قد قامت الصلاة مرتين. That salah has been established. So come now to join, right? هكذا فعل الملك النازل موصوف صفتنا. Like this, the angel that ascended from the skies had done من السماء from the sky. وهو المشهور, this famous hadith, there's no doubt, there's no need for us to even quote it. It's famous that this is what the angel that came from the sky taught, right? ثم هو حجة على الشافعي, and this is a clear proof against Hazrat Imam Shafi رحمه الله تعالى في قوله when he said أنها فرادى. That is like normally two takbirs make one unit. So when you say furada means you just say one time Allahu Akbar. Shadu an la ilaha illallah. That's one. Shadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah. Right? قد قامت الصلاة وقد قامت الصلاة. Allahu Akbar. La ilallah. So illa qawlahu. So according to Imam Shafi, say everything is in one unit. Illa qad qamat الصلاة, to accept the word qad qamat الصلاة, that will be two units, right? Carry on. Right, so how we know, like when you give Azaan, you tarassal, you pull it like, you say Allahu Akbar, like that. You don't just, race through it. So that's what it means. Ya tarassal, you will do it slowly, pull it. ويترسل في الأذان ويحضر في الإقامة, and you will hasten إقامة. So you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, right? لقوله عليه السلام, because of the statement of the Bisam, إذا أذنت, when you give Azan, فترسل, then make it slowly with a pause, right? وإذا أقمت, when you do the إقامة, فاحضر, then you hasten. وهذا بيان الاستحباب. What I tell you is this here, وهذا بيان الاستحباب, this is only mustahab. It doesn't mean that if you do it opposite, if you hasten the Azan, like sometimes Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Shadu la ilaha illallah, Shadu Muhammad Rasulullah, you hasten through Azan, the Azan is not done, or the Sunniyat is not done, you won't get the reward. It's just right. So for all of the ladies that are with us here in the online, this is also relevant to you because look, if you sometimes reading Jamaat at home, then you still we'll do this. It will come later on in the sabak, inshallah, that when you must still give Azan, when you mustn't give Azan. There are certain circumstances. If you're making Jamaat at home with the husband, whatever, then you must still give Azan. It's still good to get Azan. Try to make the namaz as complete as possible as it is done in the masjid. So sometimes for some reason or other, maybe husband, wife together, they forgot, they never make it for Jamaat. Maybe they almost whatever. Then they complete as possible, like how it will be in the masjid. We never get the perfect way of doing it in the masjid, but try to reenact as perfect as possible. So that will come, inshallah. So then the husband can still give Azan, especially if you are in a place where the Azan is not called out. Then obviously the lady won't give Iqamah. The husband, if the husband wife is reading, then the husband can give Iqamah, etc. So as I was saying, it is even relevant for you at home making Jamaat with your husband. So still follow nicely, inshallah, right? Carry on.
لأن اللازم من الصلاة ألزم من يستقبل القبلة ولو ترك الاستقبال إجازة لحصول المقصود.
Right. So ويستقبل بهما القبلة. So here also from amongst the adab, the etiquette, the sunan is you must face the qibla when you are calling out the azan, right? or we don't say it's not done, but try to face the Qibla. لأن النازل there's a big complaint